We hear deep state. People, a lot of people don't. They just hear that word. They think conspiracy. The deep state, by definition, is just a group of individuals that are just embedded in government, in our society. Ivan, is there a ringleader of this deep state? Because everybody always wants to know, Ivan, who's in charge. You can't just have a bunch of people running around together. And I get it, Ivan. Evil has the leader. It's the devil. It's Satan himself. But have you found out from your research, Ivan, who sits at the top of the throne of this this cabal, this deep state establishment cabal? Do you know who it is?
Yeah, I think it comes down to, are you talking on the global level or domestically here?
Let's
because
start
if you
domestic.
Look at the global level.
Let's start, who's running it here, and then please let me know who you think on the global level.
Yeah, so at the domestic level, some of the key players are obviously, and they have some reach internationally as well, is going to be your Barry Hussein, right? Barry Hussein, the 4th president. Sweet. And then you have other folks like your Bill Gates, and then they have that outreach with folks on the global scale. And John Brennan, I already mentioned a few of them, right? John Brennan, Barry Hussein, Jim Comey. These are senior level officials within our most influential power structures in America, right? Whether it's the White House, whether it's the CIA with that global reach, whether it's the FBI. Now, in terms of data, content, and wealth, obviously, with the whole right, we have to be careful on how we call these things because it's actually not the word that starts with the V.
Yes.
He was behind the promoting of the DNA mutilation injections as well as the heart exploding products, right?
Yes.
Talking about Bill Gates.
Yep.
But when you go beyond that at the global level, China is definitely coming out as the global hegemon through its actions over the last few years. And then you have Xi, you have influence with good old Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum. You have, good old Soros that's trying to inject himself into the conversation. So I would say that those are some of the key players there. But my focus on the global scale, has been on really exposing those domestically, because to get to those that are at the global level, my motto is, as the deep state marauder, the first thing that we must do is to castrate the deep state, and then we can crush the commies, meaning domestically the deep state, and then globally the commies, which are the Klaus Schwabs, the Xis and the Soroses of the world.
Got you.
So how do we go after the deep state? Well, you have to identify them by individual actor. And that's what I've proceeded to do. Again, I used to teach intelligence analysis for 3.5 years at the most preeminent kind of intel analysis program within the United States intelligence community. It was known as the Combined Strategic Intelligence Training Program. 7-week course, 40 hours a week, where I would lay out different things such as, here is our U.S. national security and intel apparatus, from top down, left, right, mission, roles, and responsibilities. From there, we went to discussing how to become a professional intelligence analyst. Then we would discuss how U.S. conducts intel support to multinational operations, whether it's U.S.-led or multilateral, etc. Then we went into other particular programs, but I would say that those are the key individual kind of components of that 7-week program. And I taught to members of the entire U.S. intelligence community as well as our international partners. So I have a little insight and knowledge. With that background, I applied it into my personal capacity of answering the question of who was behind the electoral heist of 2020, who was behind the attempted takedown of General Flynn. So when I started to look into it, and so I started to come up with categories of deep state actors. And let's just start off with a couple of categories just to shine some light on the incestuous relationship that these players have. So let's go back to, remember the 39 individuals that were declassified by, at the time, acting director of national intelligence, Rick Grinnell, and his deputy was Kash Patel.
Was it unmasking? Unmasking?
That unmasked General Flynn to illegally spy on him in the 2016 to 2017 period of time. Well, one of those names was a gal by the name of Sarah Raskin.
Jamie Raskin's wife?
Jamie Raskin's wife.
Wow.
Yes, there's a relationship.
Oh, weird.
So now you see why Jamie Raskin is making comments to these leftard publication known as raw sewage or, smothered jokes or daily BS so that he can try to label me as, a threat to their democracy. Hey, Jamie, I am a threat, and I am a threat to your ability to continue to operate in a lawless fashion, because I am going to expose you, and you're going to be on the receiving end of treason at the end of this, okay? So, yes, I like to expose him. While he's promoting political violence, I'm trying to get him to stop that political violence and actually hold these political violent actors to account maximally. And yes, Jamie Raskin, I will continue to drop your name and expect you to be highlighted maximally by your colleagues in Congress. I got a commitment last week by at least one member that's going to call him out for his absolute BS. Another person, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. Well, since we're on the subject, good old Benny Thompson, who used to be the chair of the Homeland Security Committee in the 117th Congress and was later the January 6th cover-up committee chair on behalf of Liz Cheney, Mike Pence's beloved Liz Cheney and Nancy Pelosi. I'm talking about Benny Thompson. He is now asking to be on a new committee that's going to be created to investigate the attempted murder and assassination of President Trump. That little kid, that chubby, I guess, is trying to be in that position to continue the cover-up. Again, like, this interview is probably only going to go an hour. I can go into each one of these individuals probably in like 15 to 30 minutes on all the relationship. But one category is those 39. Another category was, remember the 51 that covered for the Biden criminal syndicate laptop?
The former intel agent, they were at Twitter. Well, they said that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation.
Yeah, the letter was drafted by, was it Morrell?
Mike Morrell.
Mike Morrell.
He was a former acting director of the CIA. So when you look at the names and the backgrounds of all 51 of those, by the way, there were 60 total, 51 publicly disclosed, 9 not. I've identified one of those 9, but those are lower level figures that were in the system already, so they didn't want their names disclosed. I got it. One of the names that's not usually discussed, and I asked the question last week when Kash Patel was showing his movie, Government Gangsters, at the Q&A session. I said, Kash, great work. And one of the 3 names that's not really discussed much in this, as part of the government gangster or deep state crew is, I mentioned Sarah Raskin, right, Jamie?
Yep.
And then I also mentioned one of the 51 spies who lied was a guy by the name of David Buckley. Why is David Buckley important? Well, because he was the inspector general for John Brennan's CIA. Before that, he was a staff director for the Democrat Intelligence Committee back in the day. And then furthermore, he was appointed as Benny Thompson's staff director to perpetuate the cover-up of the January 6th Fedsurrection. But more importantly, he was the guy that created the Patriot target list. So I'm using his precedent. Thanks, David, for creating that list. And now I'm going to use your precedent to place you on my deep state target list as we address you in kind, maximally, with maximum retribution and accountability. What does maximum mean? Well, maximum legal, moral, and ethical. Similar to how your buddy in an objectively reasonable manner dispensed with Ashley Babbitt. That would be a maximum consequence. But it would have to go through due process. Yep. We wouldn't do it in the manner that your former boss, John Brennan, did. We wouldn't order in a vigilante style without due process a drone to go ahead and summarily execute an American citizen overseas. No, we would do this through evidence collection, proper charging, and then you will receive the maximum consequence for your treason. That's the difference between you and us. Just like, I think, was that Dr. Dre song?
Which one?
What's the difference between me and you?
Me and you, exactly.
Yeah. We're coming for all of them. Hey, and the third name,
yeah.
What about the general counsel of the U.S. Capitol Police? He's the guy that decided to charge. So it was David Buckley that created the list of who to go after. And then the general counsel of the Capitol Police, Thomas Aquinas de Bias, would then charge these J6 defendants and send over the criminal manipulated charge sheet over to Matt Graves at the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. So when you follow that sequence of events and all these players down to the individual level, down to the pixel level, they don't like that. And that's when they start to send their radical leftard organizations to try to do hit pieces on me. And in fact, they conducted 20 investigations of me, leveraging their Department of Defense, their DHS, their DOJ. But here's the problem, Vincent. When you investigate me and you're in the government, I've been in the system long enough and I know it well enough. I immediately get alerted by those folks that know me.
Great.
Who is investigating me.
Nice.
Which triggers my team's investigation of them.
Nice.
And at every point in time, I've been able to get dirt and unlawful activity on each one of them. So you don't want to be on my list. You know how people say, oh, aren't you afraid you're going to be on FBI list? No. They should be afraid of me. Homie, don't play that, and they will receive maximum consequences for violating my rights and all of our rights. And there's two options. Either in the game of chicken, there's two options when I play. I either win or you lose. And part of you lose may mean mutually assured destruction, which I'm okay with, because my kids don't have to deal with these scum.
What's up, everybody? Vincent O'Shaughnessy here. If you want to see me and the entire Valuetainment crew, we will be at the Vault Conference September 4th through the 7th at the Palm Beach Convention Center, hosted by none other than Patrick Bet-David and featuring Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Guys, this is the place to be. If you are an entrepreneur and you want to level up, do not miss this opportunity. This is the best place to network. If you want tickets, go to thevaultconference.com. Do not waste time. This thing is going to sell out, and I will see you guys there. Peace and love. So if you like this clip, click right here. And if you want to see more like it, click right here. Stay angry, Patriots.